Hi everyone, this is Prashant and you will be watching a very important podcast today. It would be related to studies in Canada and someone very special in our studio. You are seeing the podcast series of Brown Scholars where we try to enlighten you with everything when it comes to studies abroad. Let's get started. Welcome Riddhi in our studio.
Thank you, sir.
Great. So Riddhi went to Canada, and why shouldn't we talk about, why shouldn't we have a podcast on Canada studies abroad, right? Because we've been listening and hearing a lot of things about Canada and the things related to it when it comes to students. Let's try to dig deeper. Riddhi, tell us about yourself, and again, welcome to our studio.
Hi, everyone. This is Riddhi. Thank you so much, Prashant, sir, for having me here for the Brown Scholars podcast series. As he mentioned, I am a scholar from U Waterloo. I recently completed my master's in management sciences from the University of Waterloo. Before that, I completed my bachelor's in mechatronics engineering from Symbiosis University, Indore. And along with completing my bachelor's, I joined Globalizers, where I got amazing guidance from Prashant sir and the whole team, which made it all possible. So I just came to visit Indore for a couple of months, and I'll be going back and starting my professional career there.
Great, Riddhi. So, great to have you, in our podcast series. I think, of course, studying abroad is definitely a dream for so many Indian students. You are in a position, you have gone there, finished the course, and now you will be starting your professional career. So, let's connect the dots, and you can tell us why did you decide to study abroad in the first place? What was your motivation?
First thing I would say for studying abroad is education.
Okay.
Education is really different from what is it in India. You get the flexibility of choosing courses, and you can modify everything and just move forward along with what suits you the best.
True.
The second thing is global exposure. I feel that, like, if let's say if we talk about 2 years while we are studying there, studying abroad just gives you a whole new perspective on each and everything. You get to learn everything from a global perspective. Things are very different from what is in India. So there are many things that we think that is obvious, but actually it's not. So it's really good to have a global exposure, and it's just great for your personal growth.
Fantastic. So, when it comes to, you decided that I want to study abroad in India, right?
Yeah.
Studying abroad specifically from a girl's point of view, right? It's never easy, I have seen. A lot of barriers are there. It can be emotional
Yeah.
barriers, it can be mental barriers, it can be financial barriers. So when it comes to specifically for your journey, when you, let's say you declared or you announced that you want to study abroad, what was the response from family or anybody who's related to you, and did you face any hurdle?
Yeah, when I announced that I really wish to study abroad, my parents were a little bit scared for me, maybe being a girl or just normally, but thankfully they were very supportive. They were a bit skeptical because they have heard that it's not really safe for girls, but they pushed me that if it's okay for you, then you should go there. And definitely that was a question. But honestly, in Canada is safer than India. So yeah, if I
In
have
a
to
way,
move out
yes.
somewhere, then it's okay. Like, Canada is a good country and it's very safe. Like, I usually go out around like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. It's never questioned that being a girl I should stay at home or something. It's very safe and I can roam around freely.
सेफ्टी की बात करी तो मे बी आई वाज अबाउट टू ब्रिंग दिस क्वेश्चन इन अ बिट, बट जब बात करी है तो यस हम उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा डीपली समझते हैं कि ऑफ कोर्स बीइंग अ गर्ल सेफ्टी इज अ बिगर कंसर्न, राइट?
Yeah, I agree.
Specifically from an Indian parents perspective, what do you think, what was your, like, let's just talk about safety, the moment you landed in Canada and almost spent 1.5 or 2 years there, क्या ओवरऑल एक्सपीरियंस रहा सेफ्टी को लेके, और पेरेंट्स को इसके बारे में क्या पता होना चाहिए बीइंग अ गर्ल?
Honestly, being a girl, there's no anything different than being a boy.
Okay.
So there's not that much of a difference of like being a girl. You have to be more. I mean, like safety is a general thing.
Yeah.
If you're
True.
abroad, then you do not have a backup. Like if something happens, and you have to stand alone. So it's for both boys and girls. There's nothing, no discrimination. So in general, you have to maintain your safety because there are cases of like thefts and
होता है वो.
हाँ ये सब कुछ होता है and like firing at some place, like not that common but it does happen and you have to be safe at all the times. But yeah, being girl, I was scared of this, but as soon as I landed Canada, I felt that yes, there is absolutely no discrimination and it's really good.
Okay, so discrimination is also you did not experience.
No, not really.
Very good.
So that was really good. I felt really good after landing there that there is no such thing, and being a girl I felt completely safe. It was very safe to roam around at night also, and during the day every time it's very safe.
And even if it comes to safety, क्या चीज़ों का ध्यान बच्चों को रखना चाहिए अगर वो चाहते हैं कि they should not be at wrong times and at wrong places, क्या चीज़ों का उनको ध्यान रखना चाहिए ताकि उनकी they should feel safe and they should be safe?
One of the basic things is always keep your phone ready with you.
Okay.
So if anything happens, you should be able to call 911.
Okay.
And the police there is very supportive. I had to call 911 once while staying there, and the police came within 10 seconds or so.
10 seconds?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
And they are really supportive and they're like, okay, just calm down, it's okay. And once they get there, then you don't have to worry about anything. They'll just tell you to go to a safe spot and just lock yourself.
Okay.
So it's very important to keep in mind that the police is there, but yeah, you have to make sure that you do not get anything stolen. I have a friend whose laptop got stolen, and like it was very difficult because the police is not supportive in that case, because they do not consider that as an emergency case.
So then they leave it.
Then like the laptop is gone mostly.
Okay.
So it's very important to keep your belongings very safe, but you are safe there.
Okay, and would you mind just telling us why you had to call 911? What was the incident?
Okay, that was really funny. My flat is actually something, it's on the ground floor.
Okay.
And the door of the main, while entering the apartment, is parallel to my unit door. So it was Thanksgiving and I was alone in the apartment. And there's a key to enter the apartment. It was broken. And somebody at 4 o'clock in the night, somebody was knocking that particular door and ringing all the bells of the apartment. And I thought that somebody is knocking my unit door, and I'm alone. So it was really scary. But like when the police came, they just had the guns and investigated the whole building, but it was all okay. So then we came to know that it was that lock that was broken, and it was not my unit door.
Thank God.
So, yeah,
and
it was a whole like
4
2-3
o'clock
hours.
in the night.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole 2-3 hours episode, but it was all good at the end.
Great. So you've spent some time in Canada now. Canada को लेके जाने से पहले क्या misconceptions लोगों को होते हैं जो तुमको भी थोड़े से थे, और वहाँ जाने के बाद लगा कि ये उतना बड़ा इशू नहीं है? क्या वो वेदर था या कुछ और चीज़ थी? So just let us know about that. What misconception, and particularly weather को लेके लगता है कि वहाँ जाएंगे तो the winter they are horrible and it would not suit them. How did you cope up with that?
Okay, so yeah, weather is one of the main concerns that people usually have when they think about Canada. But it's not really that big an issue because it's all centrally heated.
It's all centrally heated?
Yes.
So all buildings are insulated?
Yes.
Okay.
So even if like that is a problem, they have a lot of solutions for that.
Okay.
All the buildings, all the buses are centrally heated.
Okay.
And even during the summers also, like they're centrally cooled. So at our home, we roam around in t-shirts, even if it's minus 20 degrees outside.
Okay.
So I think India weather is a little bit scary in terms of that because we have to like go around with sweaters, and they have jackets which are amazing.
Okay.
They're a little bit expensive, but I would say just invest in the best quality jackets and in best quality boots, so that you will be able to survive the winters. And there are a lot of equipments like to cover your nose, to cover your ears. You can cover yourself like completely, a very, very good pair of gloves, and some gloves that you can use your phone also with. So just cover yourself completely, invest in all the winter clothing, and it's like good to go, because you just have to wear everything while you are walking. And once you enter a mall, or let's say enter a bus or any other place, then it's fine. So like what we used to do, like being students, was like if we had to walk for like for a while, then we just used to enter, like whenever we felt cold, we entered a building and then stood there for 5 minutes, and then it felt normal, and then we went back again.
Okay.
So
तो
it's
वो
quite
manage हो जाता है, you
manageable.
get used
Yeah.
to it, right?
It's very manageable. बिल्कुल भी ऐसे कोई दिक्कत नहीं आती है. But just invest in good clothes. That's the main
Okay.
concern.
And the clothes qualities are superb there.
Yeah, it's superb.
So just t-shirt and don a jacket and then you're ready
yeah,
to go.
मतलब
And the
minus
shoes.
20 के लिए भी equipped रहती है jackets.
Wow.
And it has omni heat. So जब अपन walk करते हैं तो it traps all the heat. It has amazing technology.
Okay, okay. So वो उतना बड़ा concern नहीं
हाँ,
है.
and then snow में very important to clear the snow when you are going out. So this is something that you have to keep in mind, like especially if you have a car that is parked outside.
Okay.
Then make sure that like once it snows at night, then you have to spare around half an hour or so to
Okay.
clean the snow, to clean the parkway, and then you can go ahead.
Okay, so this is a usual practice, and I think everybody
Everybody
gets
is used to it.
right?
Yeah. So if you are like especially living in a detached house, then the footpath should be clear and it's your responsibility.
Oh.
So whenever it snows, then you have to just sprinkle some salt or clear the snow. But it's all manageable. It's not
all
that big
manageable.
issue.
Right, and I think it's nothing but being more responsible.
Exactly.
About yourself and the community that you're living
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
Great. So going back, you studied in Indore, right? You did your bachelor in mechatronics.
Yes.
Okay. Now, after mechatronics, when you decided to go abroad, of course, everything was clear, parents were okay, and you said, now I'll, make it to a university abroad. What field and why that field you chose, right? And how did you decide the country? Because मुझे लगता है, in my whole career of, mentoring for almost 2 decades, everything comes down to right country and right course.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
So, and this is what we love doing. What was your thought process, behind doing these two things?
So for the course, I would say that I wanted to switch my career from mechatronics engineering and move towards data analytics and data science.
Okay.
Because I just found that very fascinating.
Okay.
So management sciences was one of the careers which offers you both the things. So like it was very easy to get an admission through mechatronics engineering with a focus on your SOP that I'll be pursuing I'll be moving forward with mechatronics and like all those things with project management or maybe supply chain management, something like that. And then when I actually got into the university, then I had the flexibility to choose quantitative data analysis, operation analytics instead of project management. So it was a very easy transition in that case.
Okay. Okay.
And that was the main reason I chose management sciences, because it's
Masters of Management Sciences
Yes.
was your course, right?
Yes. It's very open course. Like
Okay.
you have the flexibility of choosing what you want. And then that was a successful transition, of course. And for the country, it's very easy to get the visa. It's not like not very easy, but it's comparatively easy to get a PR there.
Yes, Canada, when it comes to Canada, people think about permanent residency, PR, right?
And
Okay.
one more thing is that the fee structure, I was applying for US as well, but the fee structure is comparatively much affordable in Canada.
Yeah, and of course
Yeah,
the currency conversion also.
Yeah,
little
currency
lesser.
conversion is also less. I think it's 80 in US.
88 now, 80 between 9. It's always between 80 to 90, and it's almost
Yeah.
touching 88, 87.
And it's usually between 60 to 65
Okay.
for Canada.
In States.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a relief. And even the best university in Canada is much cheaper than an average university in the US.
Correct, I agree. So the cost
And,
was also one of the factors.
Yeah, and also like for the if I extend on the cost, then it's very convenient to get a job and do a part-time job along with studying in Canada. So it's very it's accommodating to manage your own expenses.
When did you get the part-time job after landing into Canada? How much time it took?
So being from University of Waterloo, I initially worked in UW Food Services.
Okay. You
So
started like immediately in few weeks or what?
yeah, in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, you
Yes.
got your part-time.
Yes.
And that was where?
It was in the University of Waterloo Food Services. It was itself,
Okay.
like it was Tim Hortons within the building.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Tim Hortons any day.
Yeah, of course. So they were a little accommodating for university students, like because it's in the university.
It's in the university.
Then they would prefer university. There was some chunk that had to be covered by the university students itself. So when I landed, then that was fall season. So fall is usually like to change the part times and stuff.
Okay.
So it was quite easy. Like I just applied. I just sent my resume to the manager, and then got an interview call, and then yeah, I got the job.
Okay, so there was an interview for that?
Yeah, but it's like very general interview. It's like what's your name and what have you done. So like they do not really care about your skills.
It's just basic communication.
You just have to serve coffee.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
that was your first job?
Yeah.
Did you change or it's still continue? I mean that continued for your whole course?
Did change the job. So I worked there while I was studying because that was very flexible. Like it's okay. So it was on call. I could anytime refuse that I have to study and I cannot come, or maybe sick leaves or something.
Okay.
But after 8 months, I got a co-op.
Okay.
yeah.
Co-op. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
sure.
got the co-op after 8 months.
So that co-op third semester में मिलता है. So it's compulsory to complete.
Finish 2 semesters.
Yeah, finish 2 semesters first.
Okay.
और उसके अंदर फिर co-op मिल गया. तो I left the Tim Hortons job
ठीक है.
and then continued with the co-op.
Co-op, right. And co-op is like a full-time job?
Well, pretty much so.
What
I mean,
kind of
like
a
it's
co-op
an
it was?
internship. So it's like you do not have a lot of responsibility. It's kind of similar to an internship itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is a co-op? Let's have our audience, understand this concept, because this co-op is a very important term, specifically when it comes to Canada. It's a very integral part of Canadian education system, from colleges to universities. So what is a co-op?
Yeah, so U Waterloo is also specifically famous for its co-op program because it offers a lot of companies and a lot of assistance for getting a co-op.
All right.
So it's like it's for the term. For example, if I have to do a co-op in the summer term, then summer term is usually for 4 months.
Okay.
So I'll be working in a company. I'll be getting the industrial exposure
Experience.
during that 4 months.
Okay.
So university is quite accommodating in terms of like getting you a co-op. There's a
Okay.
specific page called Waterloo Works,
Okay.
which is dedicated for the jobs.
Okay.
It's not like companies specifically say that we'll only employ Waterloo students.
Okay.
But yeah, being from University of Waterloo gives you a great edge.
You might get a preference.
हाँ, तो usually U Waterloo में मिल जाता है co-op. Once you get into the co-op program, like getting qualified for getting a co-op is also a big deal.
Okay.
But once you are there, then jobs मिल जाता है. And फिर वो काफ़ी अच्छा exposure रहता है. Like you can work 35 to 40 hours a week, and it's directly under that team. And during co-op, you have minimum interaction with the university, so it's just working there. So it's a very good professional experience.
Great. And just talking about your part-time job, the first part-time job in the food services, what was your salary?
It's minimum wage. So while I was working there, I think minimum wage increased a bit over the year. It was $15.5 an hour.
Okay. And how many, like, let's say, hours a week or a month?
It depends on you.
Okay.
So usually while working at the food services, you can easily get 13 to 14 hours a week.
Okay.
And if you wish to work more, then there are usually students like me who usually say that no, I don't want to work right now.
Okay.
So I just, you can transfer your shifts. Like there's a whole group
Group.
that is informal.
Okay.
But हाँ, पूरा एक group रहता है जो लोग वहाँ पे काम करते हैं. तो usually if I'm not able to work
You'll put
during
that
a particular
information.
shift, हाँ, I'll just put up that, and if anybody is available, then they can take the shift. Similarly, if I want to work more, then I can also take up the shifts. So मैंने भी यही किया था कि जब मैं थोड़ा ज़्यादा free रहती थी, जब workload नहीं रहता था यूनिवर्सिटी से, तो I used to work a little bit extra. हाँ. And Canada में there's one more thing that जब मैं काम कर रही थी, अभी वो rule वापस हट गया है, but that time we were allowed to work more than 20 hours.
Yes. Now they have come back to
Now
20
they have
hours.
come back to 20 hours.
Okay. और जितना पार्ट टाइम जॉब से कमाते थे, उससे आपका लिविंग एक्सपेंस निकल जाता था?
Yeah, for sure. It's more than enough.
Okay. It was
Yeah.
not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the rent, the basic food, basic shopping, like if you have to do anything, it's more than enough.
More than enough.
Yeah.
And co-op में आपने कितना कमाया या आपकी क्या salary थी?
Co-op में you usually earn pretty good, so like it's very manageable to like whatever the living expenses. The average co-op salary for U Waterloo in my program was around 26 to 27 Canadian dollar an hour.
An hour.
So it usually used to come up to around $2,500 to $3,000 a month after
Very good.
taxes.
That's after tax.
Yeah, so $2,500 to $3,000, it's completely yours. And the living expense, like if you talk about a good living expense, like you have a good private room and stuff, then it's around like let's say $1,200 or so. So the rest all is saving, and you can of course start sending back money home.
And how much rent you used to pay?
My rent was a bit higher. I don't know why. So currently I am paying $890 for a ensuite washroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so ensuite washroom means that I have a washroom attached with my room.
Okay. And it's a flat or something?
Yeah, it's an apartment.
It's an apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like if we talk about normal accommodation which has like a single washroom or maybe like 5-bed 2-bath apartments, then it's around 800 to 900. And if we talk about private washroom and like a little bit luxury, then it comes around 1100 to 1300.
1300. Okay. So around, let's say, between $800 to $1,000 in Waterloo you can find a good,
Yes.
accommodation.
Yes.
Okay. What are the other expenses? Electricity and food and all?
I would say food expenses around like let's say 200, and if you are into fruits or something, then
fruits are
let's say,
costly?
like not costly but a little bit, yeah.
Okay, they're expensive.
So like within $300 you can
Wonderful.
get all the groceries. And I had a tiffin service, so the tiffin was costing me around $200 per month.
A month.
So it was Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday. ठीक है. And if you really understand the whole journey, right? You went to Waterloo. आपको यहाँ से visa हो गया, right?
Yeah.
You gave IELTS, TOEFL, entrance. You had a GRE score also, I remember,
Yes.
right? We'll discuss about that. But accommodation आपने कैसे find किया? Because parents they would ask you how she would find an accommodation and how it is managed. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the year when I went, 2022, most of the students started going there after COVID.
Okay.
So बहुत ज़्यादा students थे and there were not enough places.
All right.
So getting an accommodation was really difficult. Like when I landed there, I did not have a home. So there are a few platforms.
So when you landed, mostly a lot of students, let's say, sort of book their accommodations before they fly.
Yeah, but
Right.
during that year, especially in Waterloo, it was very hard to get an accommodation.
Okay.
So it was very difficult that year, but it is still difficult. Like if you are planning to come in fall, then I would suggest you to start looking for apartments as soon as you get an admission.
Okay.
I started looking in May, but still I was not able to find anything till September.
You had
when
to
I
join
landed.
in September, so almost
Yeah.
3-4 months were also not enough.
Yeah, and there were some people who actually started studying and all, but they got their accommodation in around November or December.
All right.
So one semester they had to there were some Indian people who were like living there and they had a whole home, so they helped them out, or maybe do some Airbnbs and stuff. There are a few sites like Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, which you can use to find accommodations. And also there are some property managements like Shembri and WCRI, which help you.
These are companies, they're professional companies that help you with this. Okay. So you landed and then you found apartment in where did you live once you landed?
I went to my relative's place, but within a couple of days I got an apartment.
Okay.
So I was looking with a friend, and her brother was in real estate or something.
Okay.
So with that, with that sort of connections, he was able to get a home. But otherwise, it was very difficult.
Very difficult. Okay. And going back, you decided that you'll do masters in management sciences with an intent of exploring data science and analytics, right? How did you find the course at University of Waterloo, and how did you find University of Waterloo? How was your experience overall, academic experience and overall experience also?
Okay, so yeah, the academic experience was really good. One thing that I would like to mention is
क्या
it
डिफरेंस
all
है यहाँ से आपने पढ़ाई करी 4 साल और आप एकदम से नए एकेडमिक सिस्टम में चले गए,
हाँ
राइट?
यहाँ
हाउ
पे
डिड यू मैनेज?
यहाँ पे जैसे आई रिमेम्बर बैचलर में वी हैड लाइक द कॉलेज वाज 9 to 5.
हाँ,
तो all the subjects were decided and the professor was like giving us everything, but once I entered University of Waterloo it was not the case. So University of Waterloo mein you have to decide your own subjects, own courses, and it all depends on you. Like maybe agar aap chaho to sky is the limit, you can get everything from your professor, but you are the one who have to initiate. तो हमारी जो classes होती थी, I just had one class in a week.
in the week?
Yes, in a week for a course, or it was like a 3-hour course,
Okay.
3-hour class,
Okay.
or maybe 2 1.5-hour classes. So it was just 3 hours for the whole course. So the classes is less, but it all depends on you. Like being a master's student, you have to research on yourself and then learn new things and like maybe read some research papers and then go to the professor and ask your doubts. You have to extract all the knowledge from the professors as opposed to here where the professors already give you all the knowledge. That is one thing, but still, like University of Waterloo professors are amazing. They know everything. Like there's nothing that you can think of that the professors don't know.
Wow.
And like I was the youngest one in the whole class, so there were people who were 10 years older than me. They of course had a lot of knowledge as compared to me. So we also had a good discussion in the classrooms also. तो वहाँ पे हम लोग सब ऐसे डिस्कस करते थे, तो फिर काफ़ी लोगों के प्रोफेशनल एक्सपीरियंस भी लाइक दे वर डेटा साइंटिस्ट बिफोर, तो दे यूज्ड टू टेल कि हाँ सर ऐसा रहता है ये वो, तो काफ़ी अच्छा रहता है, एक कोलैबोरेटिव माहौल रहता है, तो उससे आई थिंक बहुत आगे बढ़ने का मोटिवेशन भी मिलता है.
और क्लासरूम में जो बच्चे थे पढ़ने वाले, वो डाइवर्स थे या मैक्सिमम came from India, or how do you define your class in terms of diversity?
It was pretty diverse. So there's a myth कि कनाडा में बहुत ज़्यादा इंडियंस हैं.
हाँ जी.
I agree with that.
Which is there?
Yeah, I
Did you
agree
go to
with
Brampton?
that. Yeah, Brampton is completely Punjabis and completely like it's mostly Indian. It's I think 95% of the population there is.
95%, okay.
Yeah, so but it's all centered to Brampton. Like where I used to live, Waterloo में इतने Indians नहीं थे.
नहीं थे.
And University of Waterloo में तो काफ़ी कम, मतलब like it was moderate.
Moderate.
Yeah. So I would
yeah, I
say
mean, it's
around-
being a very big school, they know that why diversity is very important.
Yes,
for them.
exactly. So there are people from Japan, Canada, yeah, like China. There are a lot of Chinese also.
There are a lot of Chinese?
Yeah,
Okay.
then it's from Korea, like different countries. It's very diverse.
Okay, diversity was not a problem.
Yeah, and around, but yeah, still there was a big chunk from India. So it was, I think, around 20-25% were Indians.
25.
Yeah.
एंड यूनिवर्सिटी की क्या खासियत है एज अ यूनिवर्सिटी वाटरलू, जो हमारे ऑडियंस को पता पड़े इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्या कोई कोर्सेज हैं जो बहुत फेमस हैं, या ओवरऑल यूनिवर्सिटी की क्या यूएसपीज हैं?
One of the main USP for the university is co-op.
Co-op.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
so people do get co-op.
yes,
Though they have to make the efforts to find it, but they do get the co-op.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. So you have the whole semester to find a co-op, and people. I mean, I've not seen anybody who has not got a co-op from University of Waterloo. So that is one of the main USPs. Then, of course, it's a brand name.
Yeah, Waterloo is
So,
a brand.
yeah, wherever, like I've worked in 2 companies as a co-op student, so they were really proud of like having a U Waterloo student. I've noticed. So yeah, so that is one thing that definitely gives you an edge.
Okay.
Like being a U Waterloo student, it has a really good name in Canada.
Okay.
And
so the prestige of university,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, some or the other, it does play a role. Because when you
Definitely.
work and then somebody is going to ask you, where did you do your master's and
Definitely.
where did you study? And then the moment you utter the name, then of
yeah,
course,
of
face has a
course,
reaction.
yeah.
Right?
So recently, University of Waterloo was ranked first in engineering.
Okay.
So of
Yeah,
course
I
that,
know that,
yeah,
yes.
that definitely plays a role.
I think computer science is tougher than U of T.
Computer science is definitely like even if you score 99%.
You're not sure you'll get it or
Yeah.
not. Yes. Very good. And अभी भी जो अभी specifically in last 7-8 months, I am an industry person. We keep seeing the numbers. We keep watching the trends. किस country में बच्चों का कितना interest है, right? Ever since that political nuisance happened, right? Day by day, we were seeing that students are losing interest in going to Canada. And this was exactly opposite let's say post-COVID, where almost everybody had Canada on their minds, right?
Yeah.
So up ye because of the social media, right? And it started with the the political drama, which is still continuing. We have seen a very big drop, and then the government of Canada coming out and announcing the restrictions, right? इस पूरे एपिसोड को लेके आपका क्या कहना है?
Okay, so I agree. This is a major concern for parents. क्योंकि एक वो सेफ्टी का क्वेश्चन रहता है क्योंकि ऐसा चल रहा था कि स्टूडेंट्स को दे आर टारगेटिंग.
They were targeted.
या बट ऑनेस्टली इट वाज नॉट द केस. मतलब
Okay.
मैं वहाँ पे थी, मुझे पता भी नहीं चला था कि ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है. तो जो भी चीज़ें चल रही थी, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट वाज वेरी सेंट्रिक टू other part of the Canada. So it's very centric to where like they are mostly Indians. And यहाँ लेकिन हर जगह नहीं था. मतलब I was not even aware of it honestly. I just got a lot of calls from my parents and my relatives, everybody, that बहुत संभल के रहना, Canada तो बहुत ही dangerous हो रहा है. तो of course like if you have to send your child, then you get the question कि नहीं अभी वहाँ पे safety नहीं है, तो you should not go there. But it's not the case.
It's not the case.
No, not at all. I did not face any such thing as like being an Indian. I was like when my parents called me that ऐसा चल रहा है. Coincidentally, I was in Brampton at that time.
Oh, okay.
Which is called like
Epicenter,
हाँ.
right? Yeah.
तो मैंने जो मेरी कॉलीग थी उनको बोला कि ऐसा ऐसा है और मेरे पेरेंट्स का कॉल आया and she was Canadian. तो she got a little concerned but she was like don't worry. हम आपको पूरा स्टेशन तक ड्रॉप करेंगे एंड यू स्टे विद अस अगर इतना ज़्यादा चल रहा है तो. बट देन आई आस्क्ड हर ऑल्सो एंड शी वाज लाइक वो ब्रैम्पटन के मेन सिटी से भी आए हैं एंड बट शी डिड नॉट रियली सी एनी सच रायट्स और समथिंग गोइंग ऑन. सो ऐसा इतना नहीं था. इट इज़ अ सेफ कंट्री स्टिल. या थोड़ा सा ये गवर्नमेंट का जो इंटरवेंशन आने के कारण थोड़े से रूल स्ट्रिक्ट हो गए हैं जिस कारण से वीज़ा मिलना बहुत मुश्किल हो गया था.
The GIC is now double.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So that makes Canada a little bit unaffordable too.
Yeah.
But I would say that GIC is still your money.
हाँ वो तो आपको वापस मिलेगा.
हाँ. तो ठीक है. If you are able to invest, then that's not an issue. और हाँ अभी लेकिन वीज़ा मिलना भी मुश्किल हो गया था क्योंकि I talked to a professor and U Waterloo ने 2024 में एडमिट्स दिए थे. No sorry 2023 में एडमिट्स दिए थे. But the students were not able to get the visa, so they were not able to.
वीज़ा नहीं मिला.
Yes.
पहुंच ही नहीं पाए.
हाँ, Indians में especially, they were not able to get the visa. तो हाँ, visa मिलना definitely मुश्किल हो गया है अब कैनेडा का. But let's see, हो सकता है कि ये थोड़े से rules ease हों अब.
Okay.
Like political situations are getting better.
Okay.
So maybe.
And you are into a university and there are two sides of Canadian education system. एक university होता है और एक college होता है. Do you have any idea about what these colleges are and any opinion on those colleges or any friend that that graduated from the college or studying in the college?
Yeah. So I'm in Waterloo. The Waterloo city has like the university is University of Waterloo and there's one more university called University of Wilfrid Laurier.
Yeah.
So these are the two universities in Waterloo and apart from that there's one Conestoga College.
Conestoga.
Yes.
Very popular. Yes.
Yeah. So Conestoga College has around 5 branches in KWC region, that is Kitchener and Waterloo and Cambridge.
Yes.
So yeah, I have a lot of friends from Conestoga as well.
All right.
Yeah, so people do.
What they talk about, Conestoga and what are their reviews in general for college system?
I think that if the main concern that you have is education,
Okay.
then don't go for colleges.
Okay.
Yeah. So people usually go to the college to get a PR.
Yeah.
But
and it's inexpensive.
Yeah, it's like it's
Manageable.
but I think that like I had a conversation with one of the college students. He's a very good friend of mine, and we actually talked about the expense being almost similar because if you are into a college then they have 8-month courses.
Correct.
But if you study for 8 months, then it's a little bit difficult to get a PR or get a work permit. Like अगर आपने 1 साल पढ़ाई करी है तो यू विल गेट अ वर्क परमिट फॉर 1 ईयर. बट अगर 1 साल से ऊपर है तो यू विल गेट अ वर्क परमिट फॉर 3 years. तो अल्टीमेटली दे हैव टू स्टडी फॉर लाइक दे हैव टू टेक 2 full courses. तो 2 full courses हाँ, तो वो भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा एक्सपेंसिव हो जाता है. तो फिर if it's just the expense then I would say that just invest a little bit more and then go to the university.
So university definitely education would be a little better.
हाँ, एंड कॉलेजेस में सीट्स बहुत ज़्यादा होती है,
Okay.
तो इट्स कंपैरेटिवली मच ईजियर टू गेट एन एडमिशन इन द कॉलेज.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the
स्पेशली
bars are
Conestoga.
pretty low. there.
या स्पेशली Conestoga. आई मीन लाइक आई एम अवेयर ऑफ Conestoga बिकॉज मतलब मैं वहाँ से बहुत लोगों को
KWC
जानती
में
हूँ.
it's a-
या एंड लाइक वेन एवर वी गो समवेयर वी डेफिनेटली क्रॉस एटलीस्ट अ कैंपस ऑफ Conestoga. तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा एडमिशन मिलना ईजी होता है, बट ऑनेस्टली मतलब उधर का एजुकेशन इतना अच्छा नहीं है. आई हैव सीन द कोर्स ऑल्सो. तो like if we compare, let's say, like our one chapter and their whole course, so
Yeah, I
the
get it.
education is really easy
And
in
the faculty
college.
lineup is also different.
Exactly.
Totally different, I guess.
And also I have noticed that colleges में Indians बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my friends told me that they have around 90%
I know.
Indians in
I
their
mean,
class.
90-95% are
Yeah.
Indians in colleges. ठीक है, so I think there are takers for colleges, but I think अगर आपका
Yeah.
percentage बहुत कम है, आपका यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं हो रहा है, और sometimes even if budget is also substantially less, you can start your journey with the
Of course.
college.
But still, I would recommend going to the university.
University.
Yeah. So the universities are very limited in Canada. So every university is pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, but they're public funded universities. Job scene कैसा है अभी? You know, of course, it's a global slowdown.
Yeah.
We know you have your friends in US, what they say, and you know our students are
Yeah.
across the globe. So अभी jobs नहीं मिल रहा है, बहुत मुश्किल से मिल रहा है. But
Right.
overall क्या लगता है, मतलब you know how stressful do you think in Canada? Because US में मैंने देखा stress होता है बच्चों को, right?
Yeah.
भली job मिल जाता है at the end of the day, but it's stressful because you know H1B
I
and
agree.
that EAD period. What is your take on job scene in your country?
Yeah. So getting a job currently is difficult.
Correct.
So that is the case. एक जो relief रहता है, like as you mentioned, as compared to US, is that we have a work permit for 3 years.
3 years, right?
So and for PR, it's usually like if you work for a year or so, like in a very general case, every case is different. But in a very general case, if you work for around a year or so, then you are eligible to get a PR. So let's say अगर मतलब of course like not considering any other like financial aspect or anything, अगर आपको 3 साल हैं तो 3 साल में you just have to work for a year or so. तो आपको PR मिल जाएगा. तो ये जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन एंड स्टेइंग इन कनाडा वाला जो फैक्टर है, उसके लिए आपको जॉब के लिए आप थोड़े से फ्लेक्सिबल हो जाते हो. बट या गेटिंग अ जॉब इज स्टिल अ चैलेंज.
Yes, sir.
या आई थिंक the job market is opening a little bit right now, and it all depends on your luck, I believe.
Yeah,
Like
and how persistent you are.
Yeah.
I think I always say that cold emailing, using LinkedIn, how resourceful you are.
Yeah, right.
And then of course the luck. So all 3 factors combined, at some point it would pay off.
Exactly. So definitely, you get a job. I agree that I have some students who are from University of Waterloo itself, who are not able to get a job. It's been around like 6 months or so.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, but eventually everybody does
Everybody
get
gets
it. You just have to be very patient.
So what are your expectations? Waterloo Management Science graduate, right? कितने का पैकेज मिलने वाला है रिद्धि को, और क्या ब्रैकेट होगा if not a precise number?
It also depends on the work experience that you have
Do they
before.
consider work experience from India?
Of course they do.
Okay.
Like yeah, that is also one of the biggest myths that I have seen.
बोलते हैं यहाँ का 5 साल का वर्क एक्स ले जाओगे तो कैनेडियन गवर्नमेंट will
नहीं,
make
नहीं,
it
नहीं,
zero.
ऐसा
ऐसा
नहीं
नहीं
है,
है.
ऐसा नहीं है.
Companies would understand that actually.
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
like, I'm the youngest one in the class.
Youngest
So,
one?
Yeah, I'm the
Okay,
youngest.
that's good.
Like, everybody is older than me, and there's one of my friends who is around 10 years older than me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he got a package around 150,000 Canadian dollars.
150.
150K.
That's a lot of money in
Yeah.
Canada.
But I, being a fresher, I cannot really imagine that I'll get that sort of money, of course.
Okay.
So, like, if we talk about freshers or let's say somebody with experience of 1 or 2 years in India, I think I would say the bracket will be around. It all depends on your skills and everything. Like, I mean, it's such a broad thing to say. I don't know, मतलब कौन सी field में कर रहे हो and how good you are in your skills. And of course, the university also plays a role in this.
Okay.
Like college students do not really expect that much, but university students do. So it's around 80 to 100K.
80 to 100K.
Yeah.
Right. And क्या tax system है, how much you end up saving, Of course, आजकल वो बहुत बड़ा, I find it ridiculous when people compare that, okay, इंडिया में 30 लाख कमाओगे और वहाँ 1 करोड़ की सैलरी होगी, it might come down to the same or this is better. So that I find it nonsensical because the different orbits are there.
Yeah.
And we just see it from the financial perspective, which is not right. We need to see it from the life and career perspective also.
Exactly.
Right? But 190,000, मतलब 80-90,000 Canadian dollars का जॉब मिलता है तो क्या टैक्स है और कितना बच जाता है and what's the quality of life?
Yeah, so taxes is around like 17 to 40%, depending on the income that you are getting.
17 to 40.
Yes, so
Okay.
I think around, I'm not really sure about this, but I think it should be around 25%.
Correct.
For this 80 to 100K.
Okay.
And like after taxes, I mean, if we just talk about like if you are going to study abroad, then एक major concern होता है कि आपने जो loan लिया है या जो भी आपने पैसे लगाए हैं, you should get a ROI for that.
ROI, ठीक है.
So I think कि if you talk about that ROI, if you have a basic living there, and let's say like a good, like if you are interested in shopping on something, then you can get the ROI in 1.5 year after taxes and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a decent proposition, specifically for a fresher.
So like of course, like if you are done with the ROI, then you have a good living in
कितना
100
खर्चा आया
crores.
मास्टर्स में? So course was how? अब मुझे बताओ ड्यूरेशन क्या था और कितना पैसा लगा?
Okay, so at University of Waterloo specifically, co-op की fees is just $1,000.
Okay, so when
Yeah.
you co-op, you just have to pay $1,000 to the university. Okay.
So it's around. It's like it also depends on you. Like what you can choose how long you want the course. Minimum is 3 semesters.
Okay.
So 3 semesters means like 1 year.
Correct.
And per semester fee is 15,000 Canadian dollar.
Okay.
Yeah.
तो 2 सेमेस्टर आपने किए.
हाँ, तो I did 3 semesters, like 2 semesters, which is like 30,000.
Okay.
Then I did 2 terms for co-op, which
Okay.
was $2,000.
Okay.
Then 1 more semester for study.
Okay. So 32 and $47,000. So let's say with insurance everything $50,000.
Yeah, and like if you consider GIC also, although you get back GIC. So GIC at my time was $10,000.
$10,000. Correct. So I think range देखे तो 40 से 55 लाख. 30
Not really. I mean, it's cover. I think it's around 35 to 40 lakhs.
35. तो 30, 35, 40 भी करे तो उस हिसाब से ROI is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I'm comparing
I
that
agree.
thing.
Yes.
Great.
So
Right.
40 lakhs, and if you are into co-op, then तो आप साथ में ही मतलब like within 1 year ही इतना होता है कि लोग अगर co-op कर रहे हैं तो एक सेमेस्टर की फीस तो उधर ही निकल जाती है. तो basically you just have to pay
अच्छा,
30,000
okay,
Canadian dollar.
okay.
So 30,000 Canadian dollars is around 18 lakh.
18 lakh rupees.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And अगर किसी को मास्टर्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट साइंस यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वाटरलू में एडमिशन लेना है तो उसकी प्रोफाइल में क्या होना चाहिए? वाटरलू मतलब ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन गिव अस एन आइडिया बिकॉज़ यू नो द प्रोफाइल, राइट?
Yeah.
वो क्या चीज देखते हैं? लेट्स से 1 2 3 थिंग्स एंड देन यू माइट थिंक ऑफ अप्लाइंग टू योर प्रोग्राम एट वाटरलू.
It's very important to have a good overall profile.
अच्छा.
So that is your GPA, that is
CGPA
your
अंदाज़न
yeah.
कितना?
It should be around like out of 4, it should be more than 3.5 at least.
3.5. What was your
Yes.
CGPA?
In India, it was 8.6 out of 10.
हाँ. अच्छा.
Yeah.
So it was a 10, in
Yeah, it was
your university
10.
it was a 10
Yes.
scale. Okay.
And then it's a like GRE is not compulsory, but if you have a decent score, then of
It
course
pays.
you can. But
You had, what was GRE score? Let me guess. We're meeting after 1.5 year, right?
I think more than that.
More than that. So it was 314?
Yeah, exactly. It's also 40.
Remember that.
Good job.
Great.
So yeah. So if you have a good GRE score, then that's fine. You can of course use that, or even if not, then that's fine. Then it's either IELTS or TOEFL,
Okay.
and then you should have good LORs and a very strong SOP.
Okay. Statement of purpose.
Yes,
Correct?
statement of purpose should be really strong.
Right.
So that kind of like, this is the overall profile. Even if you lack something, then that's totally fine. Example, I had a little lower reading score in TOEFL.
TOEFL.
Yeah, so still I got an offer letter from U Waterloo with a condition that I have to complete one of the reading courses that they have within the first semester.
All right.
Yeah, so even if you have a less score in one of the, like let's say like if listening or reading, writing, whatever, then still you should apply,
Okay.
and you can still get an admit, and just you can just maybe cover it up later.
Okay, because your rest of the profile was so good that university gave you the offer.
Yes,
And then you can
exactly.
cover up this English course in university.
Yes.
But then I think you had an IELTS score, so that got waived off.
Yeah, so because of some documentation purpose, I had to give IELTS again.
For the
So
visa,
once I
SDS.
landed there, and then I asked the dean to, like, I already have a good reading score now, so can I waive it off? So they were very flexible with it, that, and they exempted it.
Great. On a different note, I think everything in Canada went really well so far. इस पूरे दौरान क्या चीज अच्छी नहीं लगी?
Okay.
If you have to
So-
name a few or explain a few.
Yeah, so actually दूर दूर से ऐसा लगता है कि it went really well.
हाँ.
But yeah, of course the major things जो होते हैं जो सबको बहुत लगता है, that went well, but there are many hidden struggles.
Okay, challenges.
Yes, of course there are. Like the first one being that you are all alone there. So you have to manage
You're all by
everything.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to manage everything. Like from earning to your household chores to your studying. So it's everything, right? So there were a few hurdles. First one was, like, as I mentioned before also, accommodation. It's a little challenging to get one, and like you have to start very early. Then one more was like just adjusting with the environment, because things are a little different there. And of course there's a little bit racism also. Like
Okay.
it's not very smooth always. For example, like the jobs that I was applying, बहुत सारी jobs ऐसी थी जिसमें ये limitation था कि you have to be a permanent resident or a citizen there.
Or a citizen.
या
ठीक है.
तो काफ़ी लिमिटेड हो जाती है. एंड अभी मतलब जैसे ही पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशंस चेंज होती है, वैसे ही अभी कनाडा इज़ ऑल्सो प्रिफरिंग पीपल फ्रॉम डिफरेंट कंट्रीज दैट आर नॉट रियली स्टेबल राइट नाउ.
Correct.
तो अब वो उस कारण से जो अपना इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स बीइंग एन इंडियन होता है, वो तो मतलब बहुत बाद में आ जाता है कि पहले दे कंसिडर PR, देन दे कंसिडर लाइक
Citizen.
so many things. So it gets a little bit difficult to get the job. And if you one more thing, like if you do not find a part-time, which many people do not,
Okay.
like it's not that easy. It also depends on luck and everything. So if you are not able to get a part-time, then it gets a little bit difficult because the conversion rate is still higher.
Higher. And then of course asking from parents and
Yeah.
spending almost a
And
lakh
then,
every month.
Let's say even if I have a meal, then it's like average it's $12, which is a little expensive if you convert it into Indian rupees.
Yeah.
So
We should not do that once we are
yeah,
landed there.
don't
We used
do
to
that.
being Indians,
don't do that.
because INR to US and USD to INR.
Yeah.
We keep doing that.
It's pretty high. But अगर आपको अपने पेरेंट्स से पैसे लेना है इंडियन रुपीज में ही, if you are spending, then of course that is something that you have to look for. So if you get a part time job, then definitely go for it. I would recommend. तो भले थोड़ा सा काम करो, like work for around 5 to 6 hours a week.
Okay.
But still, like you should have something तो तुम like you can spend freely.
तो academic challenges तुमको ज़्यादा नहीं है, but दोस्त कैसे बने और
Academic challenges भी थे, क्योंकि एक तो स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा सा एडजस्ट करना मुश्किल होता है बिकॉज यू हैव द वन हु हैव टू टेक चार्ज ऑफ एवरीथिंग, राइट. तो थोड़ा सा ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये क्लासेस तो हो ही नहीं रही है, तो अब हम सीखेंगे कैसे. तो
and then how did you manage?
या फिर वो वही है कि आप यू शुड इशू सम बुक्स फ्रॉम द लाइब्रेरी
Okay.
or maybe go on some online courses. And
Okay.
then TAs are very helpful there. So
Okay.
don't be afraid of asking anything from the teaching assistants. So they like if you like 3 hours की क्लास होती है तो प्रोफेसर से आप इतने डाउट्स नहीं क्लियर कर पाते हो, तो you can always drop an email to the TAs and then they can help you out. So this is also one thing that you should take care of, because like थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है वहाँ पे एकदम से पूरा.
It's a totally different
Yeah.
education system and it's more practical, which we are not used to.
Exactly.
It's more authentic, no plagiarism, which we keep doing here when we are in India.
So you have to be very aware of what you're doing and make sure that you ask for everything.
Okay.
Don't be shy. Just ask and you'll get it.
And asking help is, I think, this is something that everybody should know. And every student is of the same opinion that you have to ask for help from people you know and from the people you don't
Yeah.
know. And max to max, somebody would say no, but some other person would come and
Yeah.
give you a tremendous amount of help.
Exactly. And also it's important to get a good percentage sometimes. For example, for me, like qualifying for a co-op program, it was around 85%. It was at least 85%.
So CGPA is also important.
Yeah, so for the first semester, अगर आपको लाइक मतलब ठीक है समझ में नहीं आ रहा लेकिन यू हैव टू जस्ट पुश योर सेल्फ एंड समझो चीज़ों को बिकॉज अगर जैसे 85 नहीं आए देन यू डोंट गेट द co-op and then it just like gets a little bit harder. It's not like co-op is the end of the world but co-op से थोड़ा सा easy हो जाता है चीज़ें.
ठीक है. Of course, as we are reaching to the end of the podcast, study abroad को लेके or because you are in a different orbit. I always use this word orbit because you have to move to a different orbit from India to Canada and study abroad. क्या आपका मैसेज है हमारे ऑडियंस के लिए और सभी स्टडी अब्रॉड एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए? How should they look at studying abroad? From what perspective?
I would say don't be afraid.
Okay.
Like अपने जितने भी डर है सब चीज़ों को हटा दो and one thing you have got it. Like आप जो भी challenges आएंगे वो challenges आपको इसलिए आ रहे हैं क्योंकि आप उसको face कर सकते हो. तो just don't be afraid and जो भी चीज़ आएगी you have the solution for each and everything. So you should really have a very positive thinking. Otherwise it gets very difficult because there are a lot of challenges undoubtedly.
Okay.
But यही है कि बस सारे challenges को face करते करते आगे बढ़ते जाओ and at the end you will get a very good result for sure.
It's worth it?
Yeah, it is definitely worth it. I would say कि इतनी सारी चीज़ें सीखने के लिए मिली है in like 1.5 year or 2 year, like however long your masters is, बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखने के लिए मिलती है. तो एक और ये भी एक बहुत मेजर सीख होती है कि किसी चीज़ से डर लगना बंद हो जाता है. Because kind of you have seen it all.
Yes.
So yeah, don't be scared and just take that big leap of applying and like once you get an admit, then just take that leap and just grab that offer and then like just
Gradually things will fall into place.
everything सबको अपनी तरफ से align करते जाओ बस.
Okay.
तो it gets better with time.
और कनाडा में अभी बच्चे आ सकते हैं, कोई इतना बड़ा पंगा नहीं है.
Of course. Yeah, I mean थोड़ा visa मिलना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. Like a lot of people also approached me on LinkedIn,
Okay.
but still a lot of people got their visas.
Got their visas.
Yes.
All right.
So it's okay. You can come to Canada. It's safe.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Riddhi, for your time, and what an amazing amount of invaluable pieces of advice that you have given to our audience. And I think it will really help them take right calls when it comes to studying abroad. And all the wishes for you and your coming journey ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, friends, she was Riddhi Bhargava from Indore, went to University of Waterloo, shared her experience with all of us. And I think whatever we heard, I hope it cleared a lot of misconception, doubts for all of you. And please help us in spreading this information through various channels that all you could. Thank you so much.